Are we ready?
No.
So, in the interest of full disclosure,
She didn't disclose anything.
Exactly. I didn't tell him. I didn't tell you that anything.
Oh, what? What are we doing?
What we're doing is I looked at the top films of a certain year, top grossing films of 1954.
Oh, 54. Okay, yeah.
Of 19...
Top
grossing,
so...
The top grossing. It doesn't say it
money,
is good.
Money.
What grossed toply in 1954. Yes. And we're going to rank them, look at them and rank them. And so I have randomly...
How many? How many?
It was a top 22, but we're doing top 10 only.
Because that's plenty. Enough. 10 is fine. Okay.
Okay.
Go for it. Yeah.
So
1954. Why 1954?
Random.
Oh,
almost random.
All right.
So here is the cards, and here is the choice.
Okay. I yes. Well, I will not take the one you're offering.
I'm not offering anything.
I'm sure it's a trick. Okay. It's called The High and Mighty. Read the thingy. When a commercial airliner develops engine problems on a trans-Pacific flight and the pilot loses his nerve, it is up to the washed-up co-pilot Dan Roman to bring the plane to safety.
It's a disaster movie.
John Wayne, Claire Trevor, and Lorraine Day, director William Wellman.
Yeah, so there were a couple of them we hadn't seen.
I haven't seen that one.
If we haven't seen it, we can't rank it. It was ranked 8th that year. It grossed
10 million.
10 million plus, and it had 23 million plus visitors to come and see it.
Okay, bumps on seats.
Bumps on seats.
All right. Well, unfortunately, other than that, I have once seen a John Wayne movie.
But it wasn't this John Wayne movie.
No.
Okay, in that case,
I do not watch disaster movies. I'm gonna again go for the one you didn't.
Choose better.
Choose better. Okay. Demetrius and the Gladiators. In 1st century Rome, Christian slave Demetrius is sent to fight in the gladiatorial arena, and Emperor Caligula seeks Jesus' robe for his alleged magical powers. Starring Victor Mature, Susan Hayward, and Michael Rennie.
And directed
by Delmer Daves.
Yeah, I have actually seen this one.
I have seen this one. And I believe this is a sequel to The Robe.
It is. It is. Yes. Jean Simmons is in it, like 2 seconds to pass off the robe to Demetrius. It's the story. If people who've seen the robe, they know who Demetrius is. But if you haven't seen Demetrius, he was the secondary character who ends up with the robe in his possession.
Jesus' robe.
Jesus' robe, and it's of course the Christian.
Yeah,
it's a Christian story. I don't know if it's after a book. Or the robe is definitely after a book.
The robe is Elsie.
Yeah, but I don't know if this. I don't know if this one is.
No, I don't know either. No.
Well, I'll look it up and put it here.
No.
But it looks like it sort of feels like fanfic. I remember it as an okay movie. I mean, Victor Mature is pretty good. I think the directing could have been a little bit better because I think he could do more than they made him do. But it wasn't a bad movie. To be third in 54, I'm not sure. I think that maybe on the curtails of The Robe.
Well, that's probably why they made it. Anyway, The Robe was Richard Burton.
Jean Simmons.
The guy who plays Caligula was... is that Michael Rennie?
No, I don't think
yeah, that was a notable actor. You see, maybe we get a picture here.
Yeah.
The cast was awesome. The story is sweeping, and the characters do need more answer. But at the end, you cannot have the Richard Burton character come back for a second movie. So this was probably the next best thing to make a sequel.
Yeah, and I think it's not as good as the Road, because the Road is absolutely awesome. But this is okay. This is more than okay. It fetched 26 million profit and had 57 million on bums on seats.
Bums on seats. Okay.
And it was third
good
that
amount
year.
Of bums. That is at that point probably a third of the United States.
In 54, everybody went to see the
would
movie.
Go to see it.
Yeah.
And The Robe was the first movie in Technicolor.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this one would have been in Technicolor, because I don't think that they had that kind of budget for this one.
So that's the question. I
didn't
remember it as the color not being as vivid.
Yeah, but also not letterbox. I don't think it was letterbox. I don't think it was all those things. And then we saw it on TV, of course. But so we may have seen a crop.
I don't believe The Robe is letterbox either.
Yeah, it is.
I thought it was 3 by.
No.
Go again. I'm gonna stay on this side. Right, The Egyptian. That's a movie I have not seen. In ancient Egypt, a poor orphan becomes a genial physician. That they mean genial? And is eventually appointed at the pharaoh's court, where he witnesses palace intrigues and learns dangerous royal secrets. We are starring Jean Simmons, Victor Mature, and Jean Tierney, and it's directed by Michael Curtis.
Okay.
Curtis. I have not seen it, but we got Victor Mature and Jean Simmons again, so it looks like that year they were hot. And also were again historical, like ancient, the ancient world.
In 54, the ancient, the Roman films and stuff, they were hot.
Yeah.
So I have also not seen this one. However, when I read the description, I thought, I've seen something like it. But what I saw was actually Land of the Pharaohs, which is about a grave builder. And that was let's call it, they call it that in Dutch, a dragon. That was a dragon. It is a drama that is to opera standards kind of drama.
In this case, dragon is not actually
it's not a good thing.
Positive term. It's like, oh my, sit through all of that.
It's pretty bad. So I hope this one is better. It's seventh that year at 15 million gross and 33 plus million bums on seats. So that's not bad.
That's a lot of bums.
Okay. Next.
Okay, I'm going to the other side now. So. Oh my god! The fetid calf as our character.
The Devil's Disciple.
Devil's Disciple did say, we'll give you a little bit of information on that. White Christmas. I'm sorry, but we can probably stop here now. A successful song and dance team become romantically involved with a sister act and team up to save the failing Vermont Inn of their former commanding general. Starring Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, Rosemary Clooney, and I'm supposed to know the woman's name, the other woman's name, and also directed Michael Curtis.
So he did 2 films in one way.
He did 2 major films, and they were in the top 10 box.
So this director is somebody to look out for. Well, needless to say, it's wonderful. It grossed 30 million and had 66 plus million bums on seats.
Yeah, that's pretty much the highest we've seen.
And it's number
so
one
far.
on their list. I'll at the end I'll put up their list and then we'll make our list.
Yeah.
Because we may disagree.
Yeah,
mileage may vary.
Yes, mileage may vary, but if for me, White Christmas is certainly
up there.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
There's more. There's more. Definitely more.
Désirée. How do Americans pronounce that? Désirée?
Yeah.
Désirée?
Yeah.
Hey, Marlon Brando. I mean, yes, we just had Bing and we had Danny Kaye and Rosemary Clooney, but Marlon Brando, Jean Simmons again. Third. Well, actually, she wasn't in Demetrius.
She had one scene.
Yeah. Okay, she was in the movie. Merle Oberon, and it was directed by Henry Koster, and I forgot to actually read So, the blurb is The Rise and Fall of Napoleon Bonaparte, Emperor of France.
And we've both seen this, and actually this is from a book, which I think is a German book. No, it's actually it's either German or Swedish book about Désirée. Who is a real character. This film is about
real
Désirée.
Person in history.
Real person in history. This is about her. This is not Napoleon. Is almost incidental because she had many options, but she ended up as because she didn't end up with Napoleon because he married Josephine.
I don't think that was really ever in the cards. It might have been.
Might have been.
She's a little bit on the young side. But yes. So
she ends up with one of Bonaparte's marshals, and that marshal was asked by, completely independent of Désirée, was asked by the royal family of Sweden to come and replenish them by becoming their new young king, first a prince and then a king, and he took Désirée, who was married to them, and their young son to Sweden, and that's why she ended up in Sweden. And she's very important as an influential lady who was there everywhere. She was a very good chum with Napoleon, even though it didn't work out romantically. She was one of the few people who could talk to him at a level, could tell him off. She was not a yes man, if you want to call it that, and she didn't need to be, because she had even though she was like the daughter of a silk merchant, she had status in Europe. This is an important lady, and so the film is about her, and it's with Jean Simmons as starring as Désirée. It's beautiful movie. I remember it being so beautiful to look at as well. I mean, Marlon Brando can do character acting very well, and he does a really good Napoleon. Mil Oberon as Josephine. It's not the majorest role, but it was really good. This is a beautiful movie. With bells on. Yeah,
and the title is correct because it says
her.
The Rise and Fall of Napoleon Bonaparte, but it's about her.
Yeah.
And I think that is also a twist on showing again, this is a historical movie. It's like the third or fourth one in the bunch now. But it's a twist on telling history.
And it's
that you do it from somebody else's perspective.
Yeah. You have an interesting history in an interesting time from a really good book, because it's a well-written book that is in Europe was very famous, and I suppose in America as well. But definitely, the Dutch radio actually made a radio play about it, a really good one. Yeah. So this story is with bells on. So it's number 10th in their list. Made 9 million, and 20 million bumps on seats.
Yeah. So yeah. Next. Alrighty, let me go here. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And this is about a ship sent to investigate a wave of mysterious sinking encounters. The advanced submarine, the Nautilus, commanded by Captain Nemo. Kirk Douglas, James Mason. I feel like we don't get to see James Mason enough. There's there's a lack of James Mason movies, but
when he plays the bad guy.
Yeah, he usually does. And then Paul Lucas, I don't know what he played. Directed by Richard Fleischer.
I have seen this one. Have you seen this one? A long time ago, I
think. It says it's a Walt Disney. I believe I saw it like 25 years ago, 30 years ago. But
yeah.
I can't.
I remember it a little bit. I remember it a little bit. It is I didn't know at the time it was Walt Disney. What I felt about it, I mean, Kirk Douglas is a good actor. There's no reason, and James Mason is a good actor. There's no reason for them not to do well. And I think maybe the script
and the pacing.
The pacing, and which is a director kind of thing. I think the script and the pacing is letting it down. It was very pretty to look at. The sceneries are nice because it's like in a submarine and you go under, and there's lots of stuff to see. So I think maybe Walt Disney Company was distracted a little bit too much by the scenery.
This happens.
So I think it got a number 2 placement in as visitors because the 28 million profit and 62 plus million bums on seats. And I think that's because it was pretty, not so much that it was good.
And Kirk Douglas, James Mason, Paul Lucas, although I don't know the actor, I have heard of his name before. And also just plays basically a good Disney movie with fantastical elements. I think that is surefire to get families in.
Yeah, it is. I do have to say that if they want to do it now, this is a Jules Verne story, and this I think it ends tragically. So you'd have to do a lot. But this just needs a redo right now.
Yeah,
so
why not? You can now. They have all the capabilities of doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. Alrighty. Next, I'll go for Top Banana here. What? Okay.
6th place.
I said Top Banana. I had no idea. It's actually Gone with the Wind. I thought we were doing 1950.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's to say, so this is a 1939 movie.
Yeah.
But I think they may have
It's a re-release.
re-released it.
Yeah. And
actually it went up in the rankings. Wow.
Well, no, this is a ranking for this year, for 54.
Yeah. So, as if you need a description. American motion picture classic in which a manipulative woman and a roguish man conduct a turbulent romance during the Civil War and the Reconstruction periods. We have starring Clark Gable, Vivian Leigh, Thomas Mitchell. Where is our
yeah, I know.
Leslie Howard.
I know.
I
put this is exactly what this here is what it says on the IMDb, except for the numbers. I got the numbers from somewhere else.
Right.
And
directed by Victor Fleming, George Cukor, uncredited, and Sam Wood, also uncredited.
Yeah,
yes, there was a director issue.
There was a director. We'll do one at some point about this one.
I know this one as well as I know White Christmas. I've seen it many times.
So this re-release, so not the original release, but the re-release had 16 plus million profit and 37 million plus bums on seats. Yeah.
Yeah, so a good portion of America went to go see it.
Yes.
And why not? I actually think in a world without television, a world without DVDs, without streaming media. I mean, they had television, but and there were no films on television in the 50s yet. I think re-releasing movies is a very good idea. I remember as a kid there was a re-release of The Sound of Music. Oh yeah, Bambi as well, but yeah, you kind of expect that those kinds of, but The Sound of Music. So I got taken to see The Sound of Music in the theater, and that was lovely.
Nice. I actually saw the Gone with the Wind. Were you there when I saw Gone?
Yeah. We went to a special showing.
It was a
special
showing in Tuschinski Theatre in the late 80s and 90s.
It was advertised. It was on Sunday morning, and we were like, we're going.
Yeah, it was because they had found the Dutch National Museum for Film had found a canned version of the canned copy with the subtitles of the day in it. So so they said, well, let's have a good viewing before it perishes, because it's historically it's not that interesting because there's good prints of Gone with the Wind around, but it was interesting for what it was. So we went to see it. Yeah.
Middle is I have seen this one. Rear Window. A wheelchair-bound photographer spies on his neighbors from his Greenwich Village courtyard apartment window and becomes convinced one of them has committed murder despite the skepticism of his fashion model girlfriend. She was a fashion model.
Yes, she was a fashion model.
Well, that explains how elegant she was. Starring James Stewart, Grace Kelly, and Wendell Corey.
I think that's the neighbor. I think that's the neighbor.
And then directed Alfred Hitchcock, obviously. So
Yeah, but I would probably gotta do something about this. This is a good movie.
Great movie.
The only thing that I have to say, and this sort of goes for all the Hitchcock movies, is that there is a stiltedness to it that I don't, and I think it's because he's using too much control over what the camera sees, also the sceneries and stuff like that. He's a little bit too controlled
over everything.
But here
every actor does.
Things like in Greenwich Village, courtyard apartment window is so specific, and that is what Hitchcock does. It's so specific, and I think it is actually costing him a little bit here in that. Other than that, it's a really good movie. It's 4th of the year for bumps on seats and stuff.
I wonder if that was ever a play, because it is so much.
It could be a play.
A bottle situation. It's in one location.
Yeah, it could be a play.
So
you could play. You could make it into a play.
Yeah, quite easily. Yeah.
It made 22+ million and had 51 million bumps on seats. Oh, there you go. And it was 4th of the year.
It's a film you never forget, and that by itself is a fantastic result.
Yeah, and James Stewart is wonderful, and Kelly was also Anyway.
There we go. Counter. Yes. The Caine Mutiny. That one I've never heard of. When a U.S. naval captain shows signs of mental instability that jeopardizes the ship, the first officer relieves him of command and faces court-martial for mutiny. We have starring Humphrey Bogart, José Ferrer, Van Johnson, and directed by Edward Demetrius.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one either. Well, I've seen Humphrey Bogart and José Ferrer and Van Johnson in different things.
All sorts of stuff, yes.
And
Van Johnson was
there's
Brigadoon.
Great lineup, but we haven't
Absolutely.
seen it.
Yeah, fantastic lineup. Just for the lineup alone, I'd say put it on the list to watch.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of mutiny films, but in '54 they hadn't been done to death yet. Because they did a Mutiny on the Bounty, I think they did 3 different versions. And
this is a modern one. This is a modern one.
Yeah, but they also did a Mel Gibson Mutiny on the Bounty.
No, this is a modern naval ship. This is not an old-timey shippy.
All right.
I think because I did see a picture, so it is modern naval. So I think it's probably around World War II, something like. I would say this is probably
going to be
a World War II film related that sort of thing.
Nice if they put that in the blurb, but
but sometimes these blurbs are not very complete.
Yeah.
21 plus nearly 22 million profit and 48 million bumps on seats.
And it rated which ranking?
Oh, not 5th.
5th.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
And
that's one more left. Oh, yes. Well, this one is on my list to watch.
I know.
Yes, you know this. On the Waterfront, an ex-prize fighter turned New Jersey longshoreman struggles to stand up to his corrupt union bosses, including his older brother, as he starts to connect with the grieving sister of one of the syndicate's victims. Just this line alone, this is one sentence. It's like, how much can you cram into one line? I'm intrigued how they put all that in the movie. It stars Marlon Brando, Carl Malden, Lee J. Cobb. Carl Malden was in Streetcar Named Desire with Marlon Brando, and they both. Oh no, Carl Malden walked away with the Academy Award for that, and it's directed by Elia Kazan, who also did Gentleman's Agreement and all sorts of really important films.
You very often see groups of actors come in films again and again together, because in Hollywood at the time, apart from studios, even within studios, they had little groups of directors with a certain set of.
But Marlon Brando and Carl Malden were on stage for like 2 years.
Yeah, then also, but when they came to Hollywood, they ended up in the same little group within. I suppose it's MGM. So because like they wouldn't have like Gene Kelly in a movie like that, or Marlon Brando in a Gene Kelly movie, because they were in different groups. So that is why you get Jean Simmons and Victor Mature in a couple of different things that are completely unrelated because they're in that little group.
Yeah.
So this is the last of the top 10, but because we lost a couple.
We need some.
We lost a couple.
We need some numbers. So
sorry.
Is,
it's nearly 10 million profit and 21 plus million bumps on seats.
Yeah.
And then because we lost a couple, we lost 3.
Because we didn't see them, is that what you mean?
Yeah, because we didn't see them. But I could only in the rest of the list. There was only 22 ones. There were only 2 that I know that we've seen. So, these 2 we've definitely seen.
I'm gonna go that one first. 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. Right. In 1815 Oregon, when a backwoodsman brings a wife home to his farm, his 6 brothers decide that they want to get married too. Starring Jane Powell, Howard Keel, Jeff Richards, directed by Stanley Donen, who did a lot of musicals with Gene Kelly.
So they're in the musical group.
This is that.
The musical group.
Yeah. And it's okay. It ranks 15th. It had 11 million people come to visit it
for 5 million
and
profits.
Only 5 million profits. That sounds like a little on the low side given the numbers we've seen, but it's 15th place. But this one has stood the test of time. Now I'm not sure.
We have to see it again.
We've
seen it a while ago.
Let's just say that anybody who enjoys a Hollywood musical has probably seen it.
Yeah, it is very entertaining. It's also a musical that can go on the stage really easily, and I think it has. So this is the last one.
A Star is Born. A film star helps a young singer and actress find fame, even as age and alcoholism send his own career on a downward spiral. This is the Judy Garland version, 54, with James Mason and Jack Carson, and it is directed by George Cukor. It ranks number 17 on the bums on seat list, which I think this is probably. Yeah,
and I think it's probably it's 4.4 million profit and nearly 10 million people to watch. I think it's probably because it is.
It doesn't sound like a lot considering
I
the
think it's
longevity of this movie.
Yeah, but I think it's because like 7 Brides for 7 Brothers is an upbeat musical and a happy ending. The happy ending for this, and everybody knew the ending before it happened because this is actually the second version of this story. They done one in 1937 already, and everybody's seen it, so everybody knew this was going to end badly. And going to a sad musical is maybe not.
But for Judy Garland and James Mason, again, James Mason. So
I think it is one of their best things they ever made. But both of them.
It is one for the ages. So it's not all about the bumps on seat in the year it comes out. So
that comes to us ranking this stuff.
Yes.
So we have the High and Mighty, Demetrius and the Gladiators. Over.
Yeah.
The Egyptian we didn't see. Oh, High and Mighty we didn't see.
I didn't see the High and Mighty. So
okay, then let's go. Sorry. Demetrius and the White Christmas at the top.
Hello, goes to the top.
Désirée goes over Demetrius and the Gladiators.
Yes.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
I didn't like it, but I was a kid, I think, when I saw it. It was just like
lower than Demetrius?
I would go lower,
Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, hello. I would only put it under White Christmas because it was a re-release.
And I would, for the same reason, I put it under Désirée.
Oh, well, there you go.
I think it is altogether the bestest movie, but because it's a re-release, I'm taking it down. Rear Window.
Rear Window. Yeah, you can't compare these films. I think Rear Window is more niche than Gone with the Wind and the ones above it. So
yeah,
I'm okay
third
with
place.
Where you put it there. And
this
then
the Caine Mutiny
we don't know about that. On Waterfront, Aspirational. Haven't seen it yet. Shall we?
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, it goes out. And I haven't. I thought you'd seen it, so that's why I put it. That's why I was going out. That should be fine.
Still working on
7 Brides for 7 Brothers.
Oh, I love that one. quite for entertainment value, I would put it above Rear Window, but Rear Window is probably the better movie.
Yeah, I think so.
Like critically acclaimed kind of
yeah,
stuff.
but this is our list.
It's our opinion.
Our opinion. And then A Star Is Born, and I think the reason I would put it under Gone with the Wind, is because I think. Yes, it tells. It's more of a mood board at some points than it is actually storytelling, and it goes. It doesn't go slowly to the point of annoyance, but it goes slower than it should go.
Okay, well, we are in disagreement here because I would put it way down. I would put it under Rear Window because Star Is Born is not my thing.
It's a sad story. It's a really sad story.
It's in the whole genre of Hollywood talks about itself. And you have to do that really well, like Singing in the Rain, and be entertaining about it, but be modeling about it, that annoys me. So, but of course the actors make up for a lot of it, and it is beautifully filmed.
I can. The thing is about Seven Brides for Seven Brothers is it's very fluffy. It's very nice fluff, but it's fluffy.
You know, we could kind of do this, but then Seven Brides would end up fairly low on the list.
I think I could go that. So we have White Christmas, Désirée, Gone with the Wind, Rear Window, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, Star Is Born, Demetrius and the Gladiators, and 20,000 League Under the Sea.
Which puts the number 2 on the original ranking all the way at the bottom of our list, and I hold by that because it just did not grab my attention.
No,
I never felt like I wanted to see it again.
Yeah.
And all of these films, you're going, I'll sit down for that. I will sit down for
even
that.
for Demetrius and the Gladiators.
Set a time, set a date, I'll sit down for it.
And for the ones we haven't seen, we would like to see on the Waterfront.
Yeah, Marlon Brando.
And the Egyptian, I think I would like to go and see the Egyptian. I expected it to be bad, because Egyptians films about Egypt are usually really bad. I mean, dragon type bad. So I would like to go see that one, and you can go see that one.
On the Waterfront, I'll go see you on the Waterfront. What do we do with the Caine Mutiny? Who was in it again?
That's more, and High and Mighty is a plane.
I have to say I'm intrigued by this mutiny thing that isn't like the old naval stuff. Like it's more modern history than. Yeah. So.
Okay,
I would say you can keep the Egyptian.
That's
your thing.
Maybe I'll watch this one and The Land of the Pharaohs, which is the film a year later, the one about the architect.
All
okay.
Right. So that's our opinion,
and we're sticking to it.
We're sticking to it.